The third generation Kindle Oasis features a 7-inch Encarta HD capacitive touchscreen display with a resolution of 1680 by 1264, and it has 300 ppi. This is one of the only e-readers in the world that actually has a Freescale dual-core processor. This is the IMX7. It's 1 gigahertz. It has 512 MB of RAM, and it has two storage variants, 8 gigs and 32 gigs. So this is the home screen. That's the default home screen. Amazon recently revised this a couple of years ago now. So it shows the books that you have recently purchased or have opened, your reading lists, and it's a bunch of, basically marketing type things. Bestsellers for you, find your next big read, new releases in the Kindle store, and so on. You can change this by going to the settings menu, device options, advanced options, and home and library. So you can actually change this, and this is the old sort of where it shows your library as the home screen. The top UI has your home, back, settings, Goodreads, and store, as well as 3 dots. The 3 dots change depending on what menu you are. So on the main menu, it has basically, your library, reading list, Kindle store, Goodreads, Kindle free time, vocabulary builder, the yet continuous experimental browser, settings, etc. We'll get more into this during the advanced feature. So on the settings menu, you notice that you have brightness, which has always been there, but it also has warmth. And we'll show you this towards the end of the video, but we'll show you off the glow light display. This incidentally has 25 LED lights, which is the most lights ever packed into a Kindle before. Goodreads is a company that Amazon purchased a long time ago. It basically allows you to join virtual book clubs, discover new books, read reviews, read them as well. It's kind of like a good way that you can think of it as a social media platform just for books. So you can check out like recommendations. Here's the books that you think you'll love based on the books that you have on your device. You can check out like what your friends are reading. You also have the store, which is obviously when you buy a Kindle, you're buying it for their rich and deep ecosystem. Amazon pretty well dominates the ebook in terms of market share in the US and the UK. So when you're discovering books here, they change it like almost like day to day. So new releases for you, all this stuff like would probably change. Kindle exclusives, Prime reading. So if you are a Prime member, you can actually go to the Prime reading thing and read all these books for free. The cover art, how much it can be purchased for. You can try the sample. It mentions how many pages there are, if WordWise is there, if it has enhanced type settings, which is like X-ray and translations and built-in dictionaries, supports fonts like Ember Bold, etc.
For those of you who have read on a Kindle before, this will be not new to you, but if you're joining us for the first time, you can click the AA button here and go to font and page settings. Here you can change your font styles. You can bold everything. Everything changes live in the background there. You can change the size all the way to extremely large, extremely small. Page, you have spacing, margins, orientation, and alignment. Reading, you have reading progress, location in book, page in book, etc. And some themes that you can make and pre-save so that you can change your themes if you want large, small, etc. There's a very nice feature we're going to get into right away, and that is translation, because this actually cuts down a lot of barriers for people that want to read. For example, if you only spoke Chinese, you can actually translate within a matter of seconds, and it works on anything, books, PDFs, etc. You can long press to get the usual ways to change your experience here. You can highlight, note, share. We're going to go note and just check out the keyboard. Peter is here, so it doesn't miss any letters. It's very quick. It's very snappy. Pressing and holding again, we'll go back to dictionary. We have some other things like Wikipedia and a quick translation if you just click on one word. You have share to social media platforms, email, Goodreads, and Twitter. And you can make a bookmark if you click on the top right corner. And something very obvious to the Oasis line of devices is, yes, the physical page turn buttons. They're very quick, they're very snappy, although they are missing some features that are found in other devices like the Barnes & Noble Nook that does chapter jump, or even earlier Kindles that did rapid page turn. And you'll see that it doesn't really matter how you hold it, it actually won't go through the book any quicker. The gyroscope is actually a little less sensitive than the previous model, although it does change when you go over the 0 axis. There's no way to actually turn it off. Although the Oasis 2, when you turned it ever so slightly, it would change. They have improved things on the 3rd generation. You can actually invert the white and the black and flip them by going into settings, accessibility, and this actually is way easier on the eyes, although it doesn't look the greatest if you turn the glow light on. And actually, it's not just on a book, it ends up changing the entire UI. PDFs, I know it's one of those things that you don't buy an e-reader for, but people always ask us. So it does look nice inherently. You can do some pinch and zooming, and it turns into a kind of unrendered, unfinished A2 mode kind of thing. Then when you let go, it takes a second, actually several seconds, but then it does render eventually. And then you can kind of look from there. You do have page turns, but depending on the size of the PDF, keep note that it may take longer to do your page turns. You do have the ability to long press even on side-loaded PDFs, which is very nice because that translation feature is still there, along with Wikipedia as well. Clicking at the top, you do have some ways to change your experience, not many. You do have contrast, change it kind of light and heavy, and you have margins. That is about it. Otherwise, the buttons don't do any sort of quick page turn or anything like that, and it's just kind of an overall not great experience.
This is the Amazon web browser. It's on various Kindles. I would probably recommend, if you're reading image-heavy sites like Good e-Reader, The Verge, Engadget, etc., that you turn on article mode, and you do that by clicking the 3 dots, and then this web mode is what you're normally in, and then you can click this and we're in article mode. There's actually some browser settings here. Disable images, disable JavaScript, and then clear history, clear cookies. It's basically if you're sharing this with various members of like your family, you can bookmark this specific page, and then when you click on bookmarks, it'll actually show here in addition to it. So here's our article in addition to other ones here. You can actually remove bookmarks as well. So you can kind of just say, okay, I want to remove Amazon UK because I don't really care about that. Yahoo, who uses Yahoo, BBC, and then click remove. So you can add and remove bookmarks sort of like on the fly.
So they prioritized the amber lights with 13 of them, whereas the white only have 12. And this is something we've never seen on an Amazon device before, the warm lighting. So you can go extreme candle, or you can kind of find that middle ground and get a nice white to it. You can also change the intensity, of course, and they got rid of the max button. So it used to go to max, you press max and it goes one more step. The auto brightness actually triggers the light sensors on the bezel, and the distribution is actually quite nice, and this is one of the few devices where we have absolutely no nitpick complaints about, because there's no over intensity, there's no puffing, there's no dark spots, and this is all due to the 25 LEDs.
The first Kindle ever with a glow light screen, and I believe Amazon does a tremendously good job. I would probably recommend, if you read a lot, to go, and especially with PDFs, comics, manga, to go with the 32 gig version. It just has more internal storage, and you'll be thanking yourself because you'll get years and years worth of use out of your Kindle. I could firmly endorse this. Long battery life, great screen, 300 ppi resolution. This pretty well has it all if you can afford it. For goodereader.com and a review of the 3rd generation Kindle Oasis, my name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Everybody take care.